Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohout, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Caleb Welch, the founder of Client Minds LLC, and sales and marketing top of the funnel coach, specializing in content strategy and video creation for business owners. He empowers entrepreneurs with tailored services and starter packages that generate up to 150 edited video clips from a single session to ensure consistent social media presence. Launched in March 2025, Client Minds turns business owners' expertise into authentic clips that build trust and engagement without overwhelming their schedules. With that being said, Caleb, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you so much, Milan. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to jump straight into it. And what I love to do at the beginning of every single episode is a bit of time travel, really.
Mm-hmm.
So before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for even starting the project?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because you don't know that story, right, with most business owners. And where I sit, I spent 25 years in some form of sales or marketing role throughout a couple different companies. Actually, I worked in corporate and then I had some private sector that I worked in. And one of my mottos is success does not always equal fulfillment. And so I think what happened is I found success in all those different roles, but I didn't find a fulfilling role for me as much as I wanted it to be. And I saw a need and an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I've done this for a long time. What if I could help other business owners get out of their own way, get their sales team out of their own way, get their marketing team out of their own way with some of the ways that I've started to find that success? That would be fulfilling to me to help other small businesses grow and develop their teams in the ways that I've seen people develop.
I love it. What do you think is different about you compared to a lot of people who actually enter the world of corporate and they never leave?
Good question. I don't know that there's a difference. I think everybody has their own flavor. I am one of those people that I found every role I went to at a different company, there was a box that I felt like I was kept in, and I had all these creative ideas that I had no space to use. And it wasn't that I wasn't allowed to bring those ideas to the table. I think once you hit the big corporate stage, the plan is set and the box is set for what your role needs to be. And I love the idea now as a business owner being able to say, hey, I'm going to throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. And if it doesn't, that's on me. I get to own that creativity, and anybody I bring on gets to also own that creativity because I encourage it. Those are the types of things that I think make companies a huge difference in their growth and in their implementation.
Yeah, I love this, man. And this is exactly because of those boxes and those like instilled behaviors and patterns that are instilled in you. That's the reason why I love to ask about this, because for a lot of people who actually enter the world of corporate and working for those big organizations, they just never get enough of a courage to actually take a step into a different direction, right? It's scary. Every single change is scary. So I get that on one end, but it's very inspiring to see that even with you being a part of it, you were like, nope, this is not going to be for me. I'm going to do something for my own. So I love that, man. Caleb, we're going to talk about where this journey got you overall. I'm pretty sure for you, as anybody else in business, there was a lot of adjusting along the way. So what we're going to do now is just bring some clarity to our audience in terms of who is it exactly that you're trying to help right now? And
Mm-hmm.
also, what does the client journey actually look like in a way that they can work together with you? So
Sure.
the core offerings, let's say.
Yeah. So one of the things that I had to pivot on and change was just a matter of figuring out what is the need, right? My goal was to solve small business owners' problems. And then I had to figure out what's my target market, what's my audience. I think a lot of companies make the mistake that their product or their service is for every single person. And although there are plenty of products and services out there that can apply to every single person, you have to really go after where is the need, right? So my broad version is I'm looking for owners that are too busy working in their business. They don't have time to work on their business. That's my broad target market. My secondary subcategory and my real niche is finding those people that are out doing home services, trades. There's plumbers, there's HVAC, there's electricians, there's roofers. Anybody that's really spent a lot of time working in the business so much they've had no time to put any effort in building the business, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I do with them is I say, hey, listen, I know that it's really hard for you to take time out of your day, out of the planned routes, out of the job sites to make content, to show what you offer, what are your product, what are your services, what are the complexities of things that you do. What if 30 minutes a month with me would keep you relevant and consistent on social? And so actually, what's funny is in the background is a picture of my recording studio. And I bring local people into that studio and we sit down and we talk about the complexities of their business, kind of like what you and I are doing right now in a 30-minute session. And then I cut that into short form and I post those clips to their social platforms for them consistently 2-3 times a week, depending on how much content we get. And it helps them stay relevant. And the reason that matters so much, this is the key to all of it. The reason that matters so much now, more than ever, is because all of the large language models operate different than your typical Google searches. Large language models are looking for answer engine optimization. How well do you answer questions about your business and the complexities of it? Because that's what people are prompting ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Claude, Microsoft Copilot. They're using question-based. SEO is still very important. You want to be number one on Google page, but how are you being found in the large language model now that AI is starting to become a very relevant tool across the country?
Absolutely. I love the way you put it, and also talking specifically about AI and the search engines. But even if you think about it more broadly, in today's day and age, Jesus Christ, 2026. I mean, if you're not present on social media and you're not staying engaged with the audience, there's so much that you're leaving on the table, and what you're talking about right now is what I see with most of the business owners, because once they successfully get in front of a couple of good people and they get a couple of clients, then they just get so engaged in the work that they do for them that they forget about building the business, and then there's literally no way for them to scale and grow further. Right?
1,000%.
This is a big issue that you're dealing with and solving for those people. So I love it. Now, when it comes to the actual journey for that client, just tell us a little bit more
Yeah.
when it comes to this. What is on average, what does it take for you to really work with that client on their social media presence and set them up for?
So that's the fun part, right? And I say fun part because it's fun for me, but it's not always something that it's not a straight line. You can't draw a straight line from A to B. The way that algorithms work and the way that social media now works, I mean, with Google Analytics 4 coming out, last year and wherever it came out, it's really hard to put math to that, right? What's the ROI? I don't know that I can tie a direct ROI. What I can do is I can run analytics on it. So what I tell people is I say, hey, listen, 3 to 4 months into a 12-month contract with me is when we'll start to really see an uptick in impressions, engagement, views, likes, all those different things, right? That 6 to 8 month mark is when we're really going to be able to tell what platform is working better, what content seems to be the best. And so when I build a plan from beginning to end, I start at the very beginning. Hey, I'm going to build a 12-month topic plan, and every month we're going to pick a new topic. We don't have to go in order because there are seasonal changes, there are real life incidences, laws change that maybe drastically impact that business or will impact the consumers or customers of that business. So I don't have a set, let's go in order, here's the magic template and the agenda that we're going to follow every 12 months. It's really about, hey, what is your business and where do we see a need for these things? A plumber's going to talk about seasonal things when it comes wintertime in certain states because pipes freeze, and then when those freeze, they burst, and that's how you find water in houses. That's why you find flooded homes, right? Roofers can't work in the winter unless there's damage coming from snowfall. Like, so everything has its place depending on what the business model is. And so I'll cater to each business depending on those needs. And then we'll start to really see the traction around that 6 or 8 month mark.
Yeah, definitely a lot of factors here that come into the equation that you need to consider. So I would agree. Now, when it comes to this, I also want to get your perspective on something else because there's a lot of professionals in your industry, maybe even with similar projects and offers, who are leaning more towards the side of consulting just to have something that is more scalable,
Mm-hmm.
per se. So I guess my question is, would you say that what you're doing right now is solely on a principle of done for you, or are you also dabbling into consulting just to have a little bit more freedom in terms of how many people you can impact?
So you're asking me for my secret recipe. And in all reality, I actually don't mind sharing it. I believe there's too much business in the world to feel so threatened by a competitor that you can't share certain tactics, right? So, because I'm a sales and marketing business coach first, the content just is an easy sell, right? It makes sense. Everybody needs it. You need to stay consistent. What ends up happening, and what I intentionally designed, was I bring business owners in to talk about these complex pieces, and we go month after month having these conversations. And what happens often on camera is I discover a need in their sales and marketing tactics, whether it's with their team, whether it's with them as an owner. And so then I start to go, this is how I build my consulting funnel. Let's have this conversation about what consulting would look like for you. And the content can be a piece that we add into our strategy, right? So now I'm gaining consulting clients on the sales and marketing side of business, which is where I want to heavily focus because that's my background. And I say, let me work with your sales team. Let's do a workshop. Let's look at prospecting. Let's look at top of the funnel activity, the things that I know really well. And in the meantime, we can still record the content and keep your brand going, right? But I've built my own lead funnel to get them from one stage to the next in my offerings and in my products.
Yeah. You know what? This actually nicely ties into what I was talking about a couple minutes ago about today's day and age where it's really important for you to stay engaged with your audience. And the reason for it is because there's the entry barrier. There is a very low entry barrier for people to become coaches and consultants nowadays, right? Which means there's a lot of professionals and gurus for anything and everything. And people are looking to see who is confident enough, who has enough experience. And I just feel like with you being in a position where you can just confidently say, like, hey, listen, this is what I created, this is what I came up with, this is the system that I have in place, and you're willing to share that publicly. I feel like that's a pretty good sign that you're very confident about your processes and about your place in the industry. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it this way. There's nobody that's in the consulting world or in the coaching world that's going to walk up to somebody at a networking event or first time meet and sell them on consulting with that person. Why?
Yeah.
Because people don't buy anything other than who they trust. And you've got to build rapport. So you're not going to build rapport with me in 5 minutes of networking at an event, right? But if I show you what I do and we're not really focused on the coaching or the consulting side first, and you can see that, what we also get to do is we become at a spot where we trust one another. You and I can trust one another because we spent time together month over month talking about issues in your business. Now I have a concept and an understanding of your business before we ever get to the consulting stage where I might do the deeper dive, right? But if you're solely a consultant, most of the time you have to really build trust and rapport fast. And sometimes people feel like that's too much of a gunslinger, right? Like, oh, they're just really interested in getting the contract signed, and it's this is pipeline, and they want to do this and they want to move there. I want to build trust within who I am and how I handle situations and how we walk through difficult conversations and difficult situations first. You can see that, feel it from me, and then know that if I asked you to come into the consulting world and say, hey, I really think we could do some work together, you have already that trust and rapport with me because we've worked together.
Yeah, this is actually a great way to go about it. So I appreciate you sharing that with me and the audience, Caleb. Now, with you mentioning the networking and getting in touch with people and basically generating those contacts and leads, let's look at what's happening on the back end side of the business and specifically what you've done so far with your marketing to have that ability to get in front of the right people and have the ability to onboard new clients and keep changing lives.
Yeah. So I did this all intentionally, right? I haven't this is really the first big reach out outside of the local state and county that I live in, because my goal was I attended every chamber of commerce, every local networking event. I got involved with anybody, any group that was meeting anywhere, and I started to test and validate my process, right? Does this work? Does this land? Are people interested? Is there a market? And then when I got my first clients, I tested the waters. Is the pricing right? Is this working? And I intentionally chose some I did not choose to work with. I intentionally chose some of the clients that I knew were innovative, creative, and open to new ideas, because I wanted to promise them that I might try something new and I don't know if it's going to work or not. And the clients that I have that went, I love that, I want to do it too, they actually were also a part of helping me shape the mold that I have now. So now I know I can go outside of my local county, and I have testimonials now to use of the creativeness that we did to build the product and the services I offer today.
This is beautiful. How much of a how much of a part does social media actually play when it comes to your own marketing? How are you leveraging that potential?
Yeah, so I'm doing exactly what I teach, right? But I'm not doing it as well because I'm focused on my clients, right? So if someone were to audit me, and if I were to audit myself, I'm not doing a great job at what I tell my clients to do. But my job is not working on a job site, being on a roof, right? My job is social media. So I'm doing it, but I'm doing it for my clients, and they will come before my own social platforms because I can run sales courses. I can be in person. I can be at the networking events. But at the end of the day, I want to spend my time editing and recording the content and the audio and video that they want that helps promote their business. That's my number one goal.
Absolutely. What have you tried aside from networking and really building the content organically? Is there anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm actually in the process, I haven't finalized it. I'm in the process of building a 12-week sales and marketing course, and it's all about prospecting and top of the funnel. So I have tools and tips and tricks that I'm putting into this course that are going to teach people how to build their own cold call list. Or if you're a door puller, an outside sales rep, and you need to go door to door, I'm going to teach you how to build the list of the people you need to target and how to really fine tune that list. And then I'm going to help people understand how to locate email addresses and how you need social media touches through LinkedIn messaging and Facebook messaging. And there's all kinds of ways to reach your audience. You cannot live in one channel. And so everybody in the world, I think, knows at this point that's in sales, you need an omni-channel approach. You need multiple ways that you're going after business, and you need to do it really well and really focused. And so I'm actually building a course into that, and that's the other way that I started. I started making phone calls. People I know, people that I'm friends with that own businesses, I got their opinions and I asked them for help, and I said, hey, let me record something for you for free. Why? Because I'll learn something, you'll get free content out of it, and we'll both gain something in the process. And then if it works for you, all I ask is that you send me somebody else you know.
Yeah, I think this is a very smart approach. And also for anybody else listening to this right now, I think this is what you should do at the very beginning of your of offering your services. Because if you actually leverage on the network that is already existing, you get in touch with the friends or the people that you know, offer this for free, you can just build your case basically,
A
right?
thousand
And
percent.
those testimonials and case studies, it just takes you to a different level of confidence that you have once you get to the stage of actually selling it.
Yeah.
Right. So that makes a lot of sense, though. But everything that you've mentioned, there's a ton of activities that you have to take on a daily basis while also taking care of all of the clientele. So I'm very curious, are you trying to run this as a one-man show, or have you already built your internal teams, whether it's for marketing, sales, fulfillment, whatever the case might be?
Yeah, great question. And as of right now, I'm a one-man show. But that's only because I vetted the right software, the right tools to allow me the time to still be able to sell and still do what I need to do for my clients. The goal is to reach a stage where I can't do that anymore. Not because I don't want to, but because that means my business is taking off and becoming more successful. When I hit that stage, I have ideas and roles that I've already predefined. I've already built out what I want the team to look like. I just haven't actually gone and hired it yet. I want to make sure that when I ask somebody to join my team, they don't have to worry about providing for their family. Because as a business owner, that's the first and number one thing I'm going to be responsible for the moment I add someone to my team. I'm responsible to take care of them the right way, treat them appropriately, and pay them appropriately so they can take care of their family. I don't want someone coming in scared and feeling like it's a startup and taking a risk with me. I want to build the trust in advance and know what that looks like.
What I love about what you just said is the fact that if you, as the business owner, as the founder, as the leader, if you don't go through all of the stages yourself and you don't figure out the strategy by yourself, you're never going to be able to be in a position where you can basically just give them instructions and be like, hey, this is what I figured out. It works. So just follow the script, literally, and it's going to work. Right. So
Absolutely.
in another way, I'm saying if you don't do it, you're not going to become the type of leader that the company needs you to be in order to really grow and scale.
Well, and I
So,
think that's the biggest problem, right? A business owner, they know how to do one specific thing. There's other things they're not good at. And I'll be the first to admit there's places that I'm not good at. If I just hire someone to do it, I now don't actually have the full blueprint to start over if something goes completely awry and I have to change gears, right? If this particular model of my business fails, what I've already determined is I will still be a business owner and I will start another business. What I will do is take all the things I've learned and apply that to the next business. But I have to know every aspect in order to be able to do that.
yeah, Caleb, I'm excited for you. I feel like you have a very healthy perspective on this. So it is exciting though. When you think about the future of the company, maybe the short-term goals, let's say the next 6 to 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say really are the biggest targets, revenue, milestones?
Yeah, for me, the next big target is getting to a state where I can comfortably hire and provide insurance to my employees, right? The benefits piece is probably one of the biggest and longest hurdles to overcome as a business owner. That's why a lot of people do 1099s, 100% commission. I want to be able to offer a salary of $100,000 to an editor or to to someone that comes in, and I want to be able to say, hey, here's the six-figure job. I know the market pays that. I know you're worth that, and I want you to comfortably be able to join the team. And so in the next 6 to 8 months, I want to hit a spot where bringing on another six-figure employee is totally feasible. I don't want to actually talk numbers because I think they'll fluctuate, right? Would I like to see 500,000, 1 million, 3 million? Sure, I absolutely would. But I also know what that means for me, right? One of the reasons I started a business is for flexibility for my family and time to be able to relax. And if I don't want to record that day or take on a client, I should have the right to say no, but my finances shouldn't have to suffer. I want to be in that comfortable spot that I can provide for other people, help small businesses grow, and I'm not overworked working 90 hours a week.
Sure. When you think about all of this, what would you say is probably going to become the biggest challenge to make it happen?
Um, Really, it's about discipline, right? It's self-discipline and it's self-awareness. I can sound as confident as I want, but it can also come off as cocky or arrogant, and that's not the case. I'm an overly I'm an overly optimistic person about what I know how to do, and I'm okay if it doesn't go the way I thought, and I love the idea to learn, but I have to stay confident in what I think I know how to do because people will live and breathe off of people that are confident. If I'm sketchy or I'm unsure of myself, they'll be unsure of me too.
Very well said. Caleb, this was a great 20-minute conversation where you actually dropped several golden nuggets, as I like to call them. So I just hope that anybody listening was actually listening. And if you're
Yeah.
listening and you weren't, just wind it back up.
Yep.
I love it. Caleb, at this point, let me say a huge thank you for taking the time today, sharing this lovely story with me and our audience here, and also being a part of our journey as well.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And if anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you and who knows, maybe one day even work with you, how
Hmm.
should they go about it?
So my email address is my first name. So it's Caleb, Caleb at client-minds.com. They can also go to the website, www.client-minds.com.
Beautiful. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both, your sales and marketing efforts. Also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.